My name is Pip, and I found a most peculiar door. It wasn't in a wall or a fence. What could be behind it? A secret sweet shop? A room filled with trampolines? I had to know. The door creaked open, not into the field behind it, but into a world of sparkling blue water. Suddenly I was underwater, but I could breathe perfectly fine. Isn't that bonkers? Sunbeams danced through the water, lighting up coral castles in every color of the rainbow. Little fish with sparkly scales zoomed past my nose, giggling in tiny bubbles. A mermaid with hair like spun seaweed and a tail of 1,000 green jewels swam up to me. She wasn't scary at all. She had the kindest smile I had ever seen. She showed me her collection of shiny pebbles and told me stories about grumpy starfish. It was the most amazing thing that had ever happened to me. But then I saw another door, this one made of swirly pink shell at the bottom of the ocean floor. Where would this one go? With a wave to my new mermaid friend, I swam down and pushed open the shell door. I popped out onto the petal of a giant sunny yellow daffodil. A little elf no bigger than my thumb was sitting there, polishing a dewdrop with a soft leaf. We buzzed from flower to flower, over a garden that seemed as big as the whole world. It was simply brilliant. He pointed with his tiny finger to another door, this one carved into the trunk of a huge oak tree. The oak door creaked open to reveal a very tall, very spooky-looking castle. Oh dear. A tall man in a long black cape stood at the top of the stairs. It was Dracula, but he wasn't scary. He had a big, friendly smile that showed off his rather pointy teeth. "Welcome!" he boomed. "Would you like some jelly?" He showed me his pet bats, who loved having their tummies tickled. Just as we were about to play hide and seek, a huge pirate ship crashed right through the castle wall. A pirate with a parrot on his shoulder yelled, "We've sprung a leak!" Water was pouring in. My mermaid friend appeared in the flood, grabbed my hand, and pulled me safely back through the red door, just as Dracula waved a cheerful goodbye. Phew, what an escape! Back in the field, a magnificent steam train was waiting for me, puffing out clouds of candy floss pink smoke. A friendly-looking guard in a smart uniform tipped his hat. "All aboard the Seasons Express!" he called out. How could I say no? I hopped into a comfy carriage with velvet seats and the train chuffed away with a happy toot-toot. The first part of our journey was through spring. The windows were filled with fields of bouncy daffodils and tulips. Lambs with fluffy white coats skipped about, and the air smelled of fresh rain and new flowers. It was like riding through a giant, beautiful painting. Before I knew it, the world outside changed. The flowers were replaced by lush green trees, and a brilliant, warm sun shone down from a perfect blue sky. It was summer. The train rattled alongside a golden beach where families were building sandcastles and splashing in the sparkly sea. Through the open window, I could smell sun cream and salty air. This train ride was getting better and better with every puff of smoke. Just as I finished my lolly, the leaves on the trees began to change. They turned from green to the most wonderful shades of orange, red, and yellow. It was autumn. The train chugged through a forest where squirrels were busily gathering nuts, their cheeks puffed out like big balloons. The air became crisp and cool, and the ground was covered in a crunchy carpet of fallen leaves. I stuck my head out of the window, just a little bit, and let the autumn wind ruffle my hair. It felt so exciting, watching the world change its clothes right before my very eyes. And then, soft white flakes began to fall from the sky. Winter had arrived. The world turned into a magical, snowy wonderland. The trees were draped in white, and the fields sparkled as if they were covered in diamonds. The train pulled into a snowy station where a cheerful snowman with a carrot for a nose and coal for a smile waved at me. Friendly rabbits and deer in woolly scarves were having a snowball fight nearby. I jumped out and joined them for a wonderful sledge ride down a gentle, snowy hill. Whoosh! It was the best train journey in the history of everything. After my fun in the snow, the train guard announced our final stop. Next station, the circus! It was even more spectacular than I had imagined. Lights of every color swirled around, and the whole place was buzzing with excitement and laughter. This was going to be brilliant. A clown with a big red nose and even bigger floppy shoes came tumbling past, juggling a rainbow of balls. I clapped my hands with glee. Then the ringmaster, in a shiny red coat and a tall top hat, blew his whistle. "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls," he boomed, "prepare to be amazed." I sat on the edge of my seat, my eyes as wide as saucers. The show was magnificent. Acrobats flew through the air like graceful birds, spinning and twirling on shimmering ropes. A very clever elephant balanced on a giant beach ball, waving her trunk to the cheering crowd. She even picked a flower with her trunk and gave it to me. There were lions who yawned instead of roaring, and tightrope walkers who danced across a wire high above our heads. Everything was so colorful and full of joy. It felt like the whole world was smiling right here, under this one enormous tent. The magic was real. I could feel it fizzing all around me. For the grand finale, the ringmaster presented a single glowing ball. It floated up from his hand higher and higher, past the acrobats, past the top of the tent. It glowed brighter and brighter, changing colors from ruby red to sapphire blue to emerald green. The clown handed me a giant balloon, and suddenly I was floating up too, following the magical ball. We went up and up, right through the canvas roof of the tent, which opened up like a flower. We were rising into the deep, dark, starry night sky. It wasn't scary, just wow. Floating through the night sky was the most peaceful feeling ever. I felt like an astronaut on the most important mission in the universe, a mission of wonder. I held onto my balloon tight, giggling as we drifted past a friendly-looking moon who gave me a slow, sleepy wink. I waved back. I couldn't believe this was happening to me. Then I saw it, a new light whizzing towards us. It wasn't a star or a plane, it was a flying saucer, a proper shiny silver UFO just like in the cartoons. It had flashing rainbow lights all around its edge. It hummed a happy little tune as it got closer. A window slid open and a little green alien with 3 big sparkly eyes and a huge friendly grin waved at me. He wasn't here to zap me with a laser gun, he was here to say hello. He gave me a big thumbs up with his 4-fingered hand. This day just kept getting more and more wonderfully bonkers. The alien's UFO had a giant speaker on top. Suddenly, instead of music, it started making a funny sound. And then, it started to rain. But it wasn't raining water. It was raining emojis. Hundreds and thousands of smiling faces, winking faces, and heart-eyed faces drifted down all around me, glowing softly in the darkness of space. It was a shower of pure joy, a giggle-filled storm of smiles falling from a friendly alien spaceship. It was the silliest, happiest thing I had ever seen. My balloon began to float gently back down, through the emoji rain, through the starry sky, and back towards the warm, welcoming lights below. It had been the most amazing adventure. I had met a mermaid, an elf, a friendly Dracula, and playful pirates. I had traveled on a train through all the seasons and sledded with a snowman. I had been to the circus and flown into space to meet an alien. As I landed softly on the ground, a bright, colorful sign glowed in front of me. It read in big, cheerful letters, "Welcome to Ludoteca Smile." And that's exactly what I did. I smiled the biggest, happiest smile of my life.